Merry Christmas.
You guys have come up. I'm going to hold the vinyl up, first of all, because everybody can see it better. But I'm so glad you're doing it in vinyl. There's something beautiful about the sound of the old LP. But this is pretty amazing. Taking Southern gospel and jazz and having a fusion of these two sounds. Whatever possessed you to think that would work?
You know what? I grew up listening to the Four Freshmen. So that harmony has always intrigued me.
And those guys never graduated, did they?
I don't think. They were freshmen forever.
Like Keith, he never graduated. He stayed freshman forever.
And I just love that harmony. And of course, you know, I'm going in my 33rd year of traveling and touring in a gospel quartet. So that is my passion and my love. I still wake up in the morning wanting to make music in 4-part harmony. But I met Billy Stritch. He played piano for years with Tony Bennett.
Wow.
So we were in New York and just happened to meet him, got to talking, and I said, hey, you want to do a record together? I want to do a jazzy little Christmas. He said, absolutely. So we went to Manhattan last summer. It was 98 degrees. We had a brown out.
What a time to do Christmas music.
I know. And he got his 3-piece jazz band in the studio. So every bit of that is made in New York City. And so it's got
by Tony Bennett's
piano
music director.
The music director, yes.
Do you know how big a deal that is?
I do. I mean, still pinch myself.
That in itself is a good reason to buy the CD to get the music, because it is so phenomenal to have one of the greatest composers and musical directors in the world working with you on this album.
He was a joy to work with, and he was very patient with us. And there was not much of a learning curve because we've been singing this style of music for years. There's a fusion of jazz, Broadway that's always been in a gospel quartet. And so we were excited the way it's turned out, and man, we are thrilled. We booked November and December before this ever came out, just on the mention of how this was going to come out. So we're absolutely thrilled.
You were operating by faith, Ernie. That's what you were doing.
That's what we were doing.
Tell us about the tour schedule, because you're going to be all over the country during the holiday season, but
we are
year-round you're traveling.
We do about 100 concerts a year, so that's quite extensive. And we go to Europe. Matter of fact, in May we'll be going to Germany and Netherlands and Belfast, Northern Ireland. And so, but the Christmas tour, November and December, you can find all that information on our website, which is just my name, ErnieHaase.com.
And after they see the performance, they definitely are going to want to be a part of the live concert, because it really is a very unique kind of sound. I mean, I've heard jazz, I've heard Southern gospel, I've never heard the two put together. And when I first heard what you were doing, and before I heard it, I thought, that's weird, but it really works.
It does, you know, and everybody's into collaborating and mash of music styles, and so this has really worked, and we had great people helping us along the way to produce it, and they say proof is in the pudding. The Billboard music chart came out, our first week sales. We were in the top 10 in 2 different jazz categories, and then we were #1 in gospel sales on SoundScan, and so it's been a good first week for Signature Sound. So
I'd say that's a great first week. Well, where did you get started singing? Was it church? Is that where
Absolutely.
it was?
Oh, yeah. I live originally in Newburgh, Indiana, not far from here. So I was raised in church singing gospel music, but I heard my first gospel quartet when I was 15 years old.
Do you remember who they were?
Oh, absolutely. It was the Cathedral Quartet.
The Cathedrals.
Yeah. And I prayed a prayer that night. I sat there in that crowd about 7 rows back, and I said, Lord, I've already given my life to the Lord. I said, but I want to serve you now, and I want to serve you singing. I want to sing in that group. And 10 years later, they called me, and for the last 10 years of their ministry, until they retired, I sang tenor in the Cathedral Quartet.
That's a pretty impressive deal. You got to live the dream that you had as a child sitting out there watching the cathedrals.
I lived the dream, and when I moved to Northeast Ohio and Stowe, Ohio, to join the cathedrals, about 6 months after being there, I met the boss's daughter. And lightning flashed and thunder rolled, and so I got my dream job and I got my dream girl. So it was,
I'd say God was pretty good to you sitting out there as a kid, getting the whole thing lined up for you.
Yes.
Music, marriage, all that, and now a jazz album from Tony Bennett's musical director. I think that's just an extraordinary thing. As Ernie Haase and Signature Sound get ready to perform, let me tell you that you can get their tour schedule. We've just been talking about it, and a copy of A Jazzy Little Christmas by going to ErnieHaase.com. 2 A's in Haase. You better look at it on the screen and spell it right. You can also follow them on Facebook at Ernie Haase and Signature Sound.